what generally is the case in job interviews for jobs that aren't just like can you serve coffee, or can you wait tables and so on. All jobs that I've had. Let's see, I've been, why not, just for my own funsies. I put the New York Times together on Sundays in a bookstore for about 6 hours and got all the free books I wanted, which was great, not through stealing, but through remaindering, which is similar, but legal. Then what did I do? Then I got a paper route, which was large and time-consuming. And then I did then I did office work. I cleaned doctors' offices and travel agents' offices at nights. And then I was a waiter at Pizza Hut. I was a waiter at Swiss Chalet. I was a waiter at a seafood restaurant, both while I was in school and also full-time. I graduated from there. Actually, no, waiter, and then I became a temp because I had some computer skills. I became a temp and worked in offices. And then, one summer I was a gardener. I weeded people's gardens because it was a recession and I had no job skills to speak of. And I also ended up taking somebody's grandmother around town, from sort of a tourist guide for hire, and sort of odd jobs like that. I did a variety of, just jobs that have no name, right? Moving office furniture for a weekend and that kind of stuff. And which actually helped me to understand that it's kind of incomprehensible to me how people who do that for a living have fingers still, but that's another matter. And then I started moving into the professional realm. I started semi-professional. I was like, I'd learned WordPerfect and so on, so I started doing those kinds of jobs. And then I really got desperate after I didn't have a job and had graduated, and I remember phoning up a woman that I'd met who'd given me some temp job or two, and I was just totally broke and no money. And I remember Marnie, her name was, and I remember leaving a message sort of like, okay, Marnie, I need a job. I'm desperate. I will... something to do with computers would be great. I don't care really at this point if it's moving computers or cleaning computers or reaching around and cleaning inside of computers, or but anything. I need to eat. And she ended up sending me on a job, and I'd already done some work on the side which ended up being the company called Caribou, which I co-founded with my brother. And she sent me on a job for a COBOL programmer, and it's because I had learned programming and was a programmer with some credible effects of programming. And I became a COBOL programmer for about a year while working on this other job on the side, and then I quit, and I started this other company, which then grew and did very well, and so on. It's still running. Anyway, so I've been interviewed for the low-rent jobs, but that's not really that important, I would say. And the principles that I'm going to talk about will work with those as well. But the job interview skills that I would say are the most important, I'll sort of go through them, and then you can hopefully give them a shot and see if they're of use to you.
And I say this hopefully with a shred or two of credibility. I worked in a daycare for years. I was an assistant teacher, so I know a little bit about what goes on at these places. And it was a good daycare, all things considered, relative to others. And just a few points about me so that I can establish, let's say, the tiniest shred of credibility before we continue. I got my first job when I was 11, back in, I guess, for what most of you in YouTube land would be 1720. Putting the New York Times together in a bookshop on Sundays, which was great because I got all the books that I could want from the bookstore for free, which was great, and of course, honestly. And I worked through a variety of jobs after that. Paper route. I was a waiter. I worked in a convenience store, and then I began temping. And then I got my first job as a COBOL programmer at a bank, having never taken computer science in my life. And
Then I founded a company, rose to chief technical officer, sold the company, and then had a shorter stint as a marketing executive before quitting real income and becoming a full-time internet philosopher, as you see before you now. So I have a little bit of experience floating up from the bottom to the top, and I thought that I would impart a few lessons that I learned along the way in the hopes of being able to get you greater satisfaction in your career and allowing you to really tap into your full potential, both from a career satisfaction standpoint and from the standpoint of income, of course, and money is nice.
I got a degree in history. Now, I was originally going to go on and do a PhD and all that, but for a variety of reasons I've gone into before, I didn't. But I ended up, I've been working with computers since I was like 10 or 11, so that's sort of what I did and got into that. And then I got into this, where history has been very helpful and important and all that.